Joining us. I think we're going to give a couple of people a chance to join and share this out. Normally, I introduce you guys, but both of you have some really interesting campaigns going, so I'm going to let you introduce yourselves. We were talking right before the show started about how important I feel it is to get working class politicians in office, politicians that represent us. We have all of the bankers, lawyers, right, and multimillionaires that we need. And that's a huge part of the problem in politics today is that there's a disconnect between the people that are going to work every day and busting their ass, right, and the people that have literally lived the life of luxury their entire life, right? Out of everything that we've seen during COVID, during the climate crisis, they're not losing out. They're richer than they've ever been before. They're buying houses and yachts, right? They're doing better than they've ever done. When they say we're all in this together, that's a bold-faced lie. We weren't all in this together, right? We haven't been all in this all together. And the reason that is because they don't represent us. They don't come from where we're from. They don't come from working class families. So they don't understand working class ideas. They don't understand working class issues, right? And I think it's this moment as we're able to connect through social media, through the internet in a way that we've never been able to connect before, that we can put some of these real politicians, real people in office. Right. So I'm going to let you guys, I think we didn't do a coin toss this time, but Christina, I'll let you go first. And then David, jump in right after and tell us about your campaign as well.
All right. My name is Christina Khalil. I'm running for United States Senate under Green Party in New Jersey. All right. Thank you.
Sorry.
Okay. Okay, hi everyone. My name is Christina Khalil. I'm running for United States Senate in New Jersey under Green Party. So right now I would have to say where I'm at in my campaign is working on virtual and in-person town halls. I do have a huge fundraising event coming up on the 24th. And on the 17th of this month, I will be marching in New York against fossil fuel. To stand against what the current establishment is doing. And the 23rd, I'll be in Newark, New Jersey at a community health fair, just discussing mental health and my campaign and how we're going to approve it and make access much easier. So that would be it for me.
And I'm David Strider. I'm a Marine veteran, so I kind of get a little testy sometimes, but it's all about the people. When I was a platoon sergeant in the United States Marine Corps, 81st platoon, it was about getting the people back, making sure that they were trained, making sure that they had what they had. And right now, in the last 6 years, I have not seen the people getting what they want and what they need. I mean, we see the rich getting richer. We see the middle class dissolving. We see unions being under attack. We need to make things change, and unions can help that happen. So support those unions. Also, Medicare for all. I believe that Medicare for all is a great thing for this nation because we can save hundreds of billions of dollars just initiating it overnight. And then Medicare for all needs to use the VA template for healthcare for all. I receive healthcare from the Veterans Administration, and it's number one. It's stellar. I never have to worry about my doctor not being able to see me. It's like I am number one, the only patient they have. That's what it feels like sometimes with the Veterans Administration, and we need to do that also with those people who are practicing private medicine so that the people are taking the time to go and take and get good health care and not worry about the cost. The same thing with prescriptions. Support our unions. Let's get out there. Let's put no wars, no more at the beginning of it. And it's climate change tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I think, thank you both for your introductions. I like both your campaigns are great. David's an independent, Christina's Green Party. I love to see everything that's going on right now. And it's so important. People are done. right, with the two-party system. That no matter how you slice it, left or right, we all agree it sucks, right? And we in this situation, normally there isn't an alternative. But in this situation, we've got alternatives. We need to take full advantage of them. If this isn't working for us, America as a country has had plenty of different of parties, right? We have the Whigs, we had all sorts of different parties. And it's time we get back to that. Our country ran better that way. People are forced to work together. People are forced to actually listen to their constituents. And both of you are part of that. Awakening. Tonight's show is going to focus on climate change because, I mean, it's getting bad out there, guys.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I saw your video about Greece being on.
At this point, you can't look anywhere in the world. Brazil is underwater.
Yeah.
Right? Spain is underwater. Italy is underwater. And right before it was underwater, it was on fire. Right? The largest wildfires that they've ever seen. And it's getting progressively worse.
With that not having any moisture in the air and giving the ground moisture as well, we're going to have those wildfires starting everywhere, just with the spark. That's why it's so imperative. I mean, that we make sure that we don't throw cigarette butts out if we are smokers. That we're thinking about the environment instead of just taking for granted. And that's why I like to go back to the first people, because they have taught us so much about the environment and taking care of the planet. And we need to start listening to their teachings so that we can move forward on that and institute some of those same things that they're using that they've been using for forever.
Yeah, hundreds of thousands of years in some cases. Yeah. It's interesting to note. I mean, when we say, "Oh well, we need to listen to them because they've," real talk. The only untouched lands left in America are indigenous lands. We've destroyed all the other land, right? We poisoned all the other water, right? We've loaned out, leased out, farmed out every single bit of land left. Right. And what they're holding on to, what indigenous peoples are holding on to, is all that's left.
And even to look at what's happening,
it's somehow going that direction and not like done already.
You know, you want to, water is life. That's one thing that the first people have always said. Water is life. And I believe it too. And that was one thing that I learned back when I was had my own business back in Ohio. And that was, what was killing the trees on the property. And my youngest brother came up and said, "Dave," he said, "that's where they're putting too much fertilizer and pesticide on and they're killing their trees. They don't realize that they are." And so I had one of the people that had been clearing timber on. He said, "Dave," he says, how can I stop my trees from dying?" I says, "Stop using all this fertilizer and pesticide that you got on your land." And I said,
"Well, and we've got right now."
And I told, and this was what I told him. This is what I told him. I said, "Go home and take your water from your faucet and go have it tested, because I bet that you'll find that in your water that you're drinking, it's the same chemicals that you're putting on your crops to get a higher yield."
Oh, definitely. And we've got, like, at this very moment, we've got a farm bill coming up in the Senate. A lot of these are giveaways, right? I mean, that's the Monsanto bill is a farm bill, right? Which pretty much gave them carte blanche to poison every waterway in America. Another one of Biden's terrible ideas.
Yeah.
Well, there is a water bill that was presented, and it was actually developed for the federal level in the state of New Jersey. It came from Newark, New Jersey. It would cost $18.1 billion to remove PFAS and all the chemicals from the entire country and provide clean water and clean access to everyone in every household, and even on indigenous lands. And it provides grants to encourage people to change their pipes out so they don't have to spend out-of-pocket money. And it's been presented for a few years now, but it actually hasn't been passed. So that's one of the things I'm going to work on. And I already figured out, when elected, where I'm going to redirect the money from. So that way we can, taxes don't get raised and we don't have to print any more money. And we're actually investing into a healthier community. And this is going to lower health issues. and increase just clarity and health wise overall for people.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, one thing that we can definitely do to save some money is stop paying the oil companies $250 billion a year in subsidies.
Yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Right? I mean, the $1.8 billion to clean the PFAS out of all of our waterways, you know, we have no problem giving exponentially more to them to destroy it.
Yep. And the bill is called the Water Act.
Well, that's a good name for it, because if you want, back in the days of old, how did you take over that castle?
Mm-hmm.
You poisoned the water, or you redirected the river. But it was that you poisoned the water so that people would die. And that's what we have allowed corporations to do here.
Yeah.
That's what we've allowed fracking to do here. And you got Dick Cheney. You can't get within 100 miles of his property to frack because he won't allow it. So there's something there. There's nothing safe in that fracking. All it's doing is causing.
It's part of the plan, right? So when you look at how close our politicians are to Nestle, right, to these companies, their goal was to poison the water, so you have to buy water bottles.
Yep, and just their relationships in general are dual relationships, so they're unethical and prevents actual proper leadership or them from doing their job. So there should never be dual relationships within any sort of power position.
A lot of good it does to take that water that they've been poisoning and putting it in bottles and telling us it's safe.
Yeah. And there's been some studies.
And we're paying for it. And we're paying for it. And we're paying for it.
Waters aren't even safe. I watched like YouTube videos to say, stay away from Dasani, stay away from Aquafina. And you want to drink alkaline, you want to drink pH 9. Those are the only good waters to drink.
Well, and they have the the water itself isn't bad for you, but once it sits in the plastic bottle and it starts getting the plastic chemicals in it, well, then it's poison to you. Yep. So, I mean, at the end of the day, bottled water companies don't make water, right? They make plastic bottles.
Yeah.
So true. So true.
So they really and like I said, it's Nestle specifically. They have got their fingers throughout our government. And that's why when you go to places and they don't care, because they're going to make money on the other side. They want to sell you water bottles.
Yeah. They only care about the profit. They don't care what the bottles are made of.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we're starting to get to the point now where I take, for example, the Northern Passage, right? You guys know what that is? So if you're going to ship freight around the world, the fastest way to do it is across the top, right? We go around the wide part because those are the open oceans. But the fastest way to do it is over the top or over the bottom. And right now it's still kind of frozen, but as those unfreeze, that will become the most lucrative waterway in the world, right? Sending freight back and forth.
Yeah.
But that's how stupid these people are. Because the truth is that if all that ice unfroze so that you could ship across it, don't worry about shipping anything. We'll all be dead. Yeah. That's more than catastrophic, right? That's apocalyptic level event. And they're thinking, oh, we could ship it over the top we'll make way more profit. You will have no one to ship it to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, the nightmare that would cause in our world. Don't worry about shipping. Don't worry about any of the profit that you psychopaths were dreaming about.
And they can't, when they die, they can't take their money with them. So what's the point? What's the point of all the hoarding? What's the point of all the taking and the destruction?
I think it's a mental disorder.
It's definitely a mental health issue.
I really do think that, in the same way that you see people that are hoarders, right? It's just an acceptable hoarding. In the way that we have acceptable addictions, right? Cigarettes, you have acceptable addictions, right? You can get your cigarette fix, you can go get your alcohol fix. We have acceptable addictions and unacceptable addictions, right? And in this case, money is an acceptable addiction.
And they let you know how lowly a person you were when they put cigarette non-smoking laws all over the buildings and around areas. They let you know what a second-class useless citizen you were, because you supported the tobacco industry. I mean, that, you went from something cool like Rock Hudson and the rest of the movie stars, the starlets, from smoking and lighting one up, and then to where I've got to
I
go hide to smoke this cigarette. I might as well.
Well, the climate crisis and cigarettes, right, have more connections than you would think.
Mhm.
They
Oh
use
yeah.
the same amount, the same propaganda, the same tropes, the same games that they played
Yeah.
with the Tobacco Institute, right? They play with the climate crisis. And for the same reason, that gutless, heartless profit. But they have played all of the same games. You will see those same, when you look at a cigarette ad, from the 50s, right? And how absolutely disgusting it is, right? You're smoking in front of your baby, smoking in how absolutely disgusting it is. We'll look at the people, posting their videos of rolling coal and see them as being just as stupid, right? You bought into the same game.
I'd like to.
But in a lot of times, they're the same people. They hire the scientists to make reports, right? They hire the people. They bribe the politicians. They played the exact same game that killed millions of people with small cell, cancer from tobacco that they're killing with the climate crisis. Same people.
I would like you to vision this picture right here that I'm going to try to paint for you. We have a person out on a smoke break. Okay, they're having a smoke break. They're still reeling from all the hurricane flooding that happened, in this last one that's getting ready to hit them again. And so he's out there, or she is out there smoking that cigarette, enjoying, a break from the weather, only to have what? Sinkholes come up all around Miami and Fort Lauderdale, all along the east and western coast. Sinkholes because of all the water that has been drained out of the aquifers underneath there. And the limestone surface, can't support the skyscrapers anymore. And so that person's peaceful cigarette break suddenly goes to where they're running and fetching because there are sinkholes all along the east coast from Miami.
I was a smoker for many years, and although there is like a peace about it, but the peace is, I imagine, like other horrible addictions. It's not really peace. You just don't want a cigarette.
Yeah.
Right? The fact that you were getting a break is what was giving you peace, right? That you had 5 minutes where your boss can't come and yell at you, right? You have 5 minutes to yourself, but you could have done that without the cigarette.
Yeah.
Since you were addicted, you needed one.
But the key point was, they're there, relaxing and enjoying that moment of peace when suddenly everything starts collapsing in because of the sinkholes, the draining of the aquifers, and living on a sand shelf anyway.
Well, I mean,
that was my
terrifying.
I know that. I'm sorry.
There's this one guy, I've watched his video. He was sleeping. I don't remember what happened, but his brother went to the sinkhole. Like, they were sleeping in their house. The sinkhole opened up in, I want to say, Florida. His brother fell down, and he just hurt his brother. And then he lived there for a while. I don't think he couldn't move, but the sinkhole reopened up in the area. Like, talk about traumatizing.
Mm-hmm.
Or even like when apartment complexes in Florida, or I know I keep attacking Florida. I'm sure there's other states this is happening. But even in apartment complexes that are falling down in Florida because the foundation, the ground's not stable anymore. So now people who they're not getting their security deposits back. The buildings are condemned and they still had to pay rent, but where's their money? Where's their security? Where's their safety? And then why is the landlords that aren't taking care of the property or no one's condemning this, and they keep passing inspection year after year, and it's all about greed, but not about the safety of these human beings, about these families. And when you uproot someone like that, it's a lot of trauma to be displaced. And then where's the solution to say, okay, we're going to help you to get into a new apartment? Where's the accountability of the landlord? Where's the accountability of the city workers, the people that passed these things that said, oh, this is safe, and then now apartments are falling. And then even in Hawaii with the governor, he didn't sound the alarm while the fires were going off. And then you're seeing videos of these people, and they're saying that they were cut off from escaping. They actually put blocks so they couldn't escape and drive their cars out. They had to leave their cars and sneak out in order to escape. Where's the accountability? Where's the protection for these residents, for these citizens? because clearly these leaders are failing them, and they don't care that kids are dying. And the amount of missing kids because of these fires, they won't give out a number. And these guys are like, what, with the mayor, what are the amount of kids that are missing because of these fires? He's like, I don't know. That's not a good.
Well, I mean, that is the same answer they give to any indigenous kids that go missing.
Yeah, and that's not a good enough answer.
No, it isn't.
Kids.
And they'll move on, right? It's something that drives me crazy, in that the news cycle, like, it's supposed to be the media's job to ask these questions, right? And they go their week of whenever it's a story, and then they immediately move on and stop asking questions, whether it's Flint, whether it's East Palestine, whether it's Hawaii, and they move on to the next thing, and then they stop asking questions, or even worse, they take whatever talking point the politician spokesperson gives them and then repeat that as if it's truth, as if it's news.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that, you know, Hawaii, a friend of mine was out there in Hawaii 20 years ago, and he said it saw, you know, Hawaii was the Saudi Arabia of the Pacific Ocean because of the sunshine all the time. And with this recent fire, this fire that just went through and turned people and property to ash, the thing that they need now is not to allow power companies on any part of any island, but go solar power completely. And if they're worried about a hurricane or a cyclone or whatever coming their way, the panels themselves can be retractable.
Well, it's not. I mean, retractable makes it sound like it's difficult, right? And like, the systems, the solar generators that we send, right? When a hurricane comes, you literally just fold up the panels and put them in the closet, and the solar generator has still got 24 hours to 48 hours worth of power on it, right? So the battery and then as soon as the hurricane's over, right, you put them back on the roof and plug it in. Done.
Yeah, I got panels on my house. You know, my electric bill, last month was $29 negative.
But
$29. But I mean, we could do the same thing. When I saw the inaction of FEMA and everybody else, the first thing that popped into my mind was solar panels that can be installed.
Well, it doesn't have to pop in your mind, right? Just go to the People's Fund, right? And we order solar generators and send them to hurricane victims before the hurricane hit.
Yeah.
So if you type in right now, emergency solar for Puerto Rico, solar for the Bahamas, right? If you type in emergency solar for the Navajo reservation, that is exactly what we do. It's not a thought experiment. Right? You can log on right now, go to my page right now, this very moment, and we can get people solar generators. Not some weird time in the future, not sometime after the Senate meets, right? Not after right now, right today.
And that is the problem. That is the problem. We are reactive instead of proactive. We need to be proactive in what it takes for our infrastructure. We need to be proactive to make sure that we're doing our part to make sure that we're not the cause of the rising waters, which are going to happen anyway because no one else is going to join in. So here we are pretty much by ourselves.
Even before the climate crisis was the word of the day, right? Was what we were talking about. Our country, for some reason, every year acts like it has never seen a hurricane before. Has never seen a wildfire before.
Yeah.
They are completely and utterly reactive. There's never a time where you say, all right, we know that Puerto Rico is definitely going to get hit by hurricanes every year. So you would think you would have ahead of time make sure that they have, I would say, water from air systems, but they are not that smart, right? You would have the water bottles there ready to go. You would have the MREs there ready to go. You would have places for search and rescue dotted throughout the island. You would have people that were ready to hand those things out. But every year, they act like they have never seen a hurricane before, and they need to act 10 minutes after it happened.
Well,
there's also still the 1600s law that every year stops us from importing aid to Puerto Rico because we've still got an embargo between us and from the Spanish-American War.
Yeah. That's why we need a new face, right, Christina? That's why we need a new face in the Senate and in the Congress. And I like to think that the 14th Amendment, Section 3, will help us clear out a bunch of these insurrectionists and the seditionists and the people that uh, helped do the January 6th thing. I mean,
Yeah.
I posted about it. It was over a month ago that I posted about it before it became mainstream. It seems like, but that's okay. It's nice to be ahead of the curve on this one. But I just think that we need to start thinking forward. What you have talked about as far as the groups, Terrence, that go out there and they make sure that the people that have suffered from something that's a hurricane or a fire or a flood, that yes, that's proactive, because what you guys, those teams have done, they go out there and they already know what they have to do. But our leaders that we elected to serve us and paying big bucks, in some cases 6 figures, we pay them to do what?
They just
Uh,
sit in their
yeah.
office and they just hide. They don't like to do
Well,
any work. And it
take
was made clear the value of our lives. And I hate to bring it up, but with the submarine, when we had the refugees on the boat and they were drowning, they just they didn't care because there was no dollar tied to their lives. They were black and brown. They didn't care that those kids were drowning and those people were drowning. But when you have billionaires that made the choice to go down into see Titanic, they didn't. We already knew they were gone, but they spent so much money on a rescue team. So it's clear that when these crises do happen, that they're not there. There's a reason why they don't want to be proactive. They just want that our leaders don't care, and they're okay with people dying because it's less money that they have to invest into helping people back. Not like they're helping anyone anyway, because it's the community members that actually have to come together and help. Like Terrence, he's helping me with a project, but it's not like I could go to an elected official and say, hey, these people really need help getting certain supplies. Unfortunately, they don't care because the people that I'm helping are too poor. They don't care.
They weren't in their voting district.
Yeah.
Well, these ones are these people are definitely not in.
Oh
the
yeah,
voting
they're
district.
definitely not in the voting district. But it's
So I don't want to right now for all sorts of reasons. We're not. There's some specifics we're not going to be able to give out tonight.
yes on the project.
On the live stream.
Yeah.
But we've got a
Yeah.
community that has an absolutely insane child mortality rate. If you're born premature, you're not going to make it. So Christina contacted me and said, we need to organize to get a couple of incubated units to their neonatal hospital. And yeah, we're gonna do it. So yeah, we're organizing. We're hoping to get 4 of the incubators top of the line, and we're gonna match those with one of our solar generators. So as we face the climate crisis or any other crisis that comes by, even if the power goes down, if something happens, these babies, the neonatal unit will still have power.
Yeah.
And I mean, like every project that we're doing, we're trying to make it as free of charge to the people that need it, right? It doesn't help us we're not the IMF, right? We're not trying to put people in debt to help them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right. So although there are some specifics that we can't give out this very moment, we'll make sure to keep everybody updated. That is what the project is, and it's that simple, right? We've got a community that's struggling. We've got some babies that need our help. For everybody that says pro-life, let's hear it. Let's go. This is one of those moments. Step up, guys.
Pro-lifers. Come on, pro-lifers. Let's go.
Yeah, and our leaders don't care because these are Black babies, and all I had to do was hear the fact, like, when they gave me that education and they shared that there's addiction, they shared in this community that there's a lot that they struggle with, and I was just like, let me find a solution because, if I care, so I'm going to reach out to everyone that I know that cares, and we're going to come together around the world, and we are going to find solutions because it doesn't matter. I don't care about the dollar on someone's head. I don't care if it doesn't matter if they have money in their pocket. If you need help, I'm going to find a way to help you.
Well, and it is something that should be the standard, right? Yeah. And what you are doing, right? What we're doing represents what your average American feels, right? When they say, oh, we're helping people around the world, right? When they say that's what they expect that you were doing, right? That you were sending, help to their neonatal units and solar and all of that. Not drone strikes and mercenaries.
They just, in the next 2 years, there was an article that our tax dollars, they are releasing drone bombs in the next 2 years. I don't want my taxes to go to that. I want my taxes to go to housing people.
Well, it's one of the reasons why we're getting our asses kicked internationally.
Yeah.
Because the Chinese figured it out before we did, right? They can come in and say, hey, we're going to build a hospital, we're going to build roads, and people are happy to have them.
Yeah.
Right? We're showing up and we want to undermine your governments and, train mercenary groups to murder your people and send drones to kill your children. Why would that be popular with anybody?
No.
Right? If you have food and medicine or drone strikes and mercenaries, it's always food and medicine, no contest. Right, but
food and medicine.
What we're doing here is exactly what our politicians should be doing.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you build goodwill in a community.
And that's how you build healthy international relationships.
Save their children.
Yeah,
they will like you.
Yeah, right. What happened to that big push? Save the children.
But they made it clear only certain children matter.
Well,
not every child.
And we let them choose, right? That's what, and not just, as we sit here and do the scariest thing that they can possibly imagine, and that's talk and organize, right? We're to the point now with both politics and when it comes to charity, when it comes to mutual aid, we don't have to ask them anymore.
Mm-hmm.
No, we don't.
Right? We don't have to go through them. We don't have to go through a board. We don't have to ask a whole bunch of millionaires to empty out their pockets because they've proven they never will.
They know, and even if you donate to like the Red Cross and organizations like that, they hoard the money. They don't actually spend it to use it. So now I refuse to donate to any of those corporate fundraising organizations. I'd rather donate my money to little mom and pop organizations. And that's
find the people that are actually doing the work. And you look at it, I'm not trying to down, right, the general intent behind it, but look at Oprah and The Rock live streaming for Hawaii.
I don't believe that they really actually donated 10 million. I want to see the receipts.
But that's fine. I don't care, that they did or didn't donate $10 million. You're Oprah Winfrey and The Rock. You had $10 million, right, sitting in the ashtray in your car. That's nothing.
And they're asking poor people that are struggling with homelessness, living paycheck to paycheck, to donate. And even Obama, when he said, "Oh, donate to the Red Cross," you have millions of dollars, buddy.
I will not donate to the Red Cross because of this one thing that my father told me. My dad being a WW2 vet, he was there was a USO Red Cross thing there, and they had coffee and donuts, and they were charging for the coffee and donuts, and my dad said, "Stick it up your ass." But WW2 vet, he said, "I don't want it. I don't want it. I got to pay for it." Hey.
When it comes to, like I said, with all, look, the Rock and Oprah Winfrey could rebuild the entire island, and that row has got the Rock, has got Oprah Winfrey, has got the Zuckerberg lives on that same row, right? These are some of the richest people on the planet, and they're fleecing us for another $10 million, right? We're not going to be able to wait for them, but we don't have to.
No, they're only going to have enough people.
Donate to if it says Act Blue on the bottom of it, don't donate.
Yeah.
Right? They don't need your money. It's a millionaire asking you for millions of dollars. Spend your own cash.
Yeah, and the only people that there'll be prize real estate that'll be scarfed up by those who have lots of money. And those people who...
Well, and that's the deal. I think if it burnt down, we tried the Western way. It did not work, right? It doesn't get to be auctioned off to a bunch of rich folk. No. It needs to be given back to the indigenous people that took care of it for the first 10,000 years.
And see, that's the thing. The rich are going to come in with their money, and where it should be, like you just said, Terrence, go back to the first people.
Yeah, like turn the houses into community buildings, turn the houses into the local indigenous government buildings.
Mm-hmm.
But that's why there was kind of the conspiracy theories and all of that. And I said over and over, it doesn't take a conspiracy. All of the infrastructure on the island was pointed to protect the rich,
Yep.
and none of it was pointed to protect the actual people from the island.
Because they were
right? And that was the bottom line. It doesn't take a big conspiracy to see that. The sprinklers went that way, not that way.
Yeah.
And the alarms never went off. And then they go to sleep at night. The governor, he said he doesn't regret not setting the alarms off. Like, he verbalized that in his speech. And he's going to
the way they've attacked any of the people that are showing what's going on the ground.
Yeah.
So you've got, it's one of those, and I think we spoke about it earlier. The corporate media right now, the bot media, is literally asking you not to believe your ears and not to believe your eyes.
Yep.
And they're doing that over and over again. You can talk to somebody on the ground that's saying this, with their cell phone, saying this is what's going on right now. And then the news will come out right after and say, no, actually, that's not happening.
No.
Yeah.
Even though you can see it.
Yeah.
And I believe the regular person. I don't believe corporate media.
And
I don't think your average citizen does anymore. But that gives us power. What we're doing here, where we can organize. If it's not the weather, people don't believe the news.
Yeah,
even the weather was wrong.
They
told me it was supposed to rain today. It was so hot out. I needed that rain to break the heat. I'm like,
you can't even believe them.
Yeah.
But it has your average person, like they'll nod along, and pretty much they agree with what they're going to agree with and not agree with what they're not going to agree with, because 90% of what you get is opinion.
Yeah, well,
very facts, what the news was supposed to do.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are at a crux of our society when we've got those people who were elected to serve us to tell us that, no, I didn't think it was worth turning it on. I didn't set the alarms off, because I didn't think it was valued there to it. And, it takes me back to the early days of the French Revolution, let them eat cake. Things like that. When I hear leaders talk so cavalier about the peoples who lost their lives, takes me back to where, Marie Antoinette, was being a real biatch of the neighborhood.
We have built an aristocracy, right? They're now no different than lords and barons and all of that. These are lifetime positions with ultimate wealth and ultimate power, and they're starting from wealth and power.
And political dynasties where the kid, once they get elected, their kid just automatically gets like a seat, and they're just whatever their kid position. They never have to work for it. Everything's just handed to them, and it becomes generations upon generations, just the same people in office recycling with the same beliefs. They don't understand what reality is. They can't relate to the regular people, and they are not impactful or effective leaders.
Well, I think there was this stuff. I mean, it's obvious they just don't listen to us, and you can see it when you hear.
Then we ignore them. We ignore them. The things that they say, we just ignore them. We know what we have to do, Terrence. We know what we have to do, Christina. We know what we have to do. We know what the people need. We just have to do it, because the people who have the money don't give a rat's behind. And so we just need to move forward. Just like our forefathers and foremothers did before us, we need to go out and we just need to take the plow and just take and make that field work.
Yeah, and you know what? They pervert a whole bunch of things that the forefathers did. Yes, I don't agree with a lot of things that they did. But the one thing that is very unconstitutional is the fact that we have to pay taxes when America was founded on not paying taxes. And then after World War II, you made us start paying taxes? No, the Civil War. You made us start paying taxes after the Civil War? That is the most unconstitutional thing you could have ever did to any of the citizens. And none of these tax dollars now go to us. So we shouldn't even be paying taxes. You just waste the money into whatever you want to do, and you raise our taxes every year. And we still have to go and help the communities out.
Yeah, and I've lived in states that have income tax, and I've lived in states that don't have income tax, and I didn't really see a difference.
And I've got friends who will tell you that we don't really need the tax. The only
really
reason
don't.
the only reason
Well,
the only
it was
reason we
supposed
and they'll
even
tell you
then.
this, the only reason we have taxes is to give value to our dollar. And we have somebody, and I like Christina, I'd like for you to take part of this one here. Robert Hockett has agreed to do as many shows as we would like for him to do to talk about the state of the world. I mean, he's really smart. The guy is just he's intelligent. He's a professor. He teaches, and he knows about economies. He knows about all kinds of different things that I think he'll give us a little bit of uh, corner cutting for us. Sorry, instead of a sharp corner, we're going to get a rounded one, so we'll be able to get around it a little bit better, and learn that a little bit easier. But he's going to he agreed to with me to help us understand the things that we don't in government and help us find a better path. I mean, he's in,
Well, I mean, it's supposed to
and
be
I
a
want you to be
social
part of that too, Christina.
Oh,
If you're
thank you. I
interested.
would love to take something.
a social agreement, in that a social contract, in that we pay taxes and we get certain benefits out
We're
of it.
supposed to
But
get
we've
certain
now gotten to the
benefits.
But we've now
Right,
gotten to the
right.
point where we pay the highest taxes ever and we get none of the benefits. They refuse to listen to us. Some of those statistics, 75% plus of the American population thinks we need single payer. They're not listening to you. 80% of the people in the United States believe we need to legalize, right, at least medical, right, if not completely recreational. They're not listening to you, right? 90% of the American people think that we need to leave Syria and not support Saudi Arabia in the genocide of Yemen, right? They are not listening to us.
Well, so
When
here
you
the
look at Americans don't agree on anything, and you're looking at 70, 80, 90% of the people, right? It gets up to 98% of the people that you ask want the people responsible for poisoning Flint's water to be persecuted.
Oh, 100%. They were responsible.
Oh no, the one 99% actually. The 1% says
Oh, you are right. The 1% says that the poison and the lead magically appeared and they didn't do anything. You are right with that.
And I'd like to tell you two rabbit holes that they opened up for us this week, and that was, the Department of Health is going to open up the niceties of maybe having marijuana legalized. The Veterans Administration is talking about having and using it for even psychedelics available to treatment for veterans. Let's see, and even Biden's office came up with the whole damn thing too. 45 years ago, I was like, for 6 months, I was, new.
But they also do this right before the election.
Yeah.
Every
That's
year.
why
Every time there's an election, they tell you, "Oh, we're just about to pass it."
Well, guess what? That's why I said
one more time.
they opened up two rabbit holes for us to go down. Okay,
So although I am supportive, I'm definitely as invested as you can get in the industry. But on the same note, I've seen this movie so many fucking times.
Yeah.
My entire life, right, since Bill Clinton onward, has been telling me they're just about to end mass incarceration and legalize. Just one more vote. Oh, no, Obama definitely going to do it. Obama's black, right? He definitely, bullshit. Expanded the military or the prison industrial complex to its biggest levels ever. More people arrested under Obama for marijuana than any time in history.
And that's why I am wanting to get in the Senate so I can do what? Start the repeal of that off of Schedule 1. 45 years ago, I fought for legalization of cannabis, and just now North Carolina is starting to think about maybe we should have medical marijuana when they opened it up for consideration in 1978. And I was one of the first ones.
We've been hearing this for so long, right? With this issue, the proof's in the pudding.
Yeah, well,
I want to redirect back to mass incarceration. So what Biden recently did, he supported private prisons and ICE centers. He and our elected officials recounted and flipped on the law that they passed to close private prisons and ICE centers within the state of New Jersey. So now we're going to see a mass incarceration, and they are moving immigrants without a plan into the state of New Jersey. And they're only doing this because I'm connecting the dots. You just repealed the law for ICE. Now you're moving a whole bunch of immigrants into the state of New Jersey to put them right into prison.
Well, and you can tell that as this has progressed, right? It's got mission creep. Originally, people were exactly asking that question. Like, wait a minute, I live in Missouri. I'm nowhere near the Mexican border. Why are there ICE Nazis driving up and down my neighborhood?
Yeah.
Right. They said, oh, we're immigrant. Yeah, go back to the border where you should be. And people were fighting back against it. And now they've made a concerted effort, right, to move people farther and farther into the interior of the U.S.
Yep. It's such a mess.
And we're not prepared for them. We can't even take care of the homeless situation in those areas, and we're moving like DeSantis and Abbott, from those states. They're moving them when they have a lot better climate area. I mean, hurricanes aren't, but it's a lot better than if we're going to move them north. Let's make sure that we have the facilities, at least the places where they can at least have shelter.
The answer is very simple.
It's a self-fulfilling prophecy, right?
Yeah.
We need workers in America, right?
Yeah.
A lot of the people that are coming up here to work. Most of the people that are coming up here are coming up here to work.
Yeah.
Right? But we've created a system where we have somewhat a problem. At the end of the day, they don't want brown people moving to America.
They really don't.
This has been the American standard from its inception.
And that and their recent investment in all the Nazis.
It's one of those things where if you ask the prison industrial complex what to do with any problem, their solution is going to be more prisons.
Yeah. And the answer, and this is why me and David need to go into the Senate, right, David, is redesign immigration. Instead of investing the money into the officers, I can't remember those officers, the Border Patrol people that have. We found so much evidence that kids go missing. They rape these children. They murder these people, and they struggle with drugs. And they also help bring drugs across the border. It's these patrol agents. There's so much research on it. So instead of investing money on these people that do nothing but harm communities and individuals and create victims, we need to invest in housing, making the process much easier, better screening. If they want to move to a certain area, help them with the process to obtain their citizenship, because all they want to do is work. And then if you don't want people to move over here, stop destroying their homeland. At the end of the day, stop sending bombs and drones to destroy their homeland, because they're only coming over here because you destroyed the area that they live in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if the CIA is currently training death squads in your country, you have to leave.
Yeah.
There's no getting around that. We were trying to spray Monsanto products over, it was Bolivia or one of those countries, to stop in the cocaine production. Right? If they tell you that they're about to spray your community with fucking Monsanto products, you gotta go. Yeah. You gotta grab your kids and go. If the U.S. is undermining the current government, right, and arming and training terrorists because they support whatever ideology you're on about right now, right, you gotta go. You have no choice. It's that or die.
Yeah. And it's horrible. And then they get mad that people come here. And guess what? America's a melting pot. The only people that this country belongs to are the indigenous people. Everyone here is a guest. So, and that's the beauty of this country, is because we are a melting pot, but we're not even embracing it because it's moving over. The white Nazis want to think that this country belongs to them.
A lot of the insanity that you see in front of us right now is about a year and a half ago, a paper came out that said within the next 150 years that white people would become the minority. And at that moment, you saw this fervor explode in as fascist as we need to be to keep that from happening. Now, for those of us that are brown, this is not an issue. I'll be fine.
Yeah.
And for those like myself, I've interracial marriages, myself, in my family.
And at the end of the day, as hard as it is to believe, white people are the minority on the entire planet.
Yeah. And they were mistreated at all.
That's okay.
We were the
That's
minority.
fine.
We were the minority when Columbus first stepped foot here. We were the
But
minority.
that's fine. That's fine. That's not a negative thing or a bad thing.
No.
Europeans, there's lots of white people that white people aren't going anywhere.
Yeah.
But you've always been the minority. Right now, you're just being told that, and it's the most shocking thing you've ever heard.
Yeah.
And it's not by like small amounts here, billions and billions and billions into the minority.
Yeah.
And coming to terms with that, you see that in Niger, you see that all over the world right now in realizing that there was a time when the UK had convinced itself that it actually owned India. And they truly believed that. And it was a real, they mowed people down with machine guns in a fit after being told that. But at the end of the day, you didn't own India. France doesn't own Niger.
I know,
Right?
they're having their own crisis, and guess what? That's karma. For over 60 years, all you did was oppress and hurt the people, and you colonized them. And it's safe to say that was racist, because you're buying uranium from Canada for 200 euros, but you're only giving like 80 cents to Niger.
Well,
that
what
was
makes
done
it
on purpose.
They know that if they lose control of Niger, if the corporal colonists, right, lose control of Niger, that's it. Right, other African. Why are we working as slave labor? Why are we giving the most lucrative industries, the most lucrative resources away for pennies? Why are my people starving?
Yeah.
Right, you're sitting on cobalt, right? Something that absolutely every solar panel, every battery, right, has got cobalt in it, and yet the countries producing cobalt are absolutely poor. Right, and it shouldn't be that way, and they're waking up to it.
And I'm so proud of them.
Where France, in the U.S., right, we're learning that with them, right, because we immediately came out with our interest in Niger, and Niger's all like, what interest? Fuck off.
Yeah.
You don't have any interest here. This isn't your country, right? Nation sovereignty, nothing about Niger without Niger.
And then Macron, he came out and he said, well, I'm going to protect France, the French interests first over anything. So what are you trying to say? You're going to go in by force and kill these people to take over their land? The audacity that this man had when he publicly said that, and he didn't care. And I am so proud of South Africa standing up and all the countries uniting and breaking away from the West, because at the end of the day, this is karma. You mistreated these people. You lied to these leaders, lied to the communities, and you let these people suffer.
Yeah. Well, and then now they come in like somehow they've done something positive, and it's one of those things. You had 250 years to do something positive. Yep. You have done nothing positive.
You mentioned earlier too, Terrence, about the Chinese coming in. Would you like a new school? Would you like a hospital? Instead of, I've got these AK-47s that are really nice. The repeating actions on a nice. You've got 30 round clips. That's what we're selling. That's what Russia is selling. And where the China's coming in, and they see where our folly was, and had we 200 years ago, when we were in the colonial stage, done what China is doing, building schools, et cetera, and feeding the people health-wise, et cetera, and not giving them smallpox blankets, those kind of things. Had they really cared about the people, they would have gotten the ability to, one, survey the whole nation and set it up. And if they would have set it up to where the people are going to benefit from that resource without destroying the ecology, had we, but we didn't know those things. We were just, raped.
I think plenty of people knew it. Nobody listened to them.
Yeah.
In the same way that plenty of people say today and nobody listened.
Well, I would have been in a lot of fights. I would have been in a lot of fights back then.
One of my international policies is reducing overdoses and ending the war on drugs, not only in this country, but reducing overdoses and introducing high quality mental health care overseas to a whole bunch of people, especially in the countries that America has traumatized. And that's one amazing way to build allyship, by giving them tools and the healing tools to say, okay, this is the medicine that you guys use to especially help with alcohol withdrawal, because not everyone has access. And I never realized until I talked to some people that how fortunate we are, where when I worked at the detox, that, you know, people are coming in and I'm just like, okay, we're going to give you this medicine. We're going to prevent you from having hallucinations. You're not going to have a seizure. You don't have to worry about death. You'll have 24-hour medical care. And then in a whole bunch of other parts of the world that doesn't even exist. So now I'd like to give medicine, and at no charge. Now it's giving peace, and that's how we're going to build relationships. That's how we're going to heal people. And it's not about the price tag. It's about helping other human beings. And if anyone says, where's the money coming from? It's coming from our military budget. That's fucking ridiculous to begin with. So we're not going to lose anything by taking the money out of there.
Then that's the question. How come when you say the words security, when you say the words U.S. interest, those only are synonyms for war and weapons safety?
Because that's our current administration. That is how they created those definitions.
And that's why we've had to change that.
You should be able to say, well, why are you bringing food? Why are you bringing medicine? Why are you building security?
Mm-hmm.
National security.
Yeah.
When you help people, they like you.
Yeah, and they'll protect you. So if I'm investing in all these countries, and I'm now we make the USA the country of peace around the world instead of the country of war. If someone were to try to come in, it's just like, you know, you're going to have the entire world backing you up real fast and say, we like what's happening here, because if you mess with them, then you mess with us, and this person's helping all of our people. It's about uplifting people. And
but right now, our worst enemies will come up, and Saudi Arabia, right?
Yeah.
They are not our friends in any way, shape, or form, but they will smile at our government and gladly accept the checks.
Oh, yeah. But it's our administration that has done that, because our administration has hurt them and hurt their people. And this is the thing about Arabs. And like, you know, there's 7, or is it 9? I can't remember. Anyway, there's multiple Arab countries. When you attack one, you attack all of us. When you destroy one of our countries, and even with the Palestinians, I feel their pain. Like, you're right next to Egypt. You're so close.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that could be my country next.
You can correct me if I'm wrong, right? But it's an old Middle Eastern saying: never get between fighting brothers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, never.
Right. And that's a lot of these situations where we put ourselves and wonder why, right? When you look around, why they immediately turn on you, because these are brothers fighting brothers. The fact that you were arming them a second ago does not matter, right? They'll accept the guns and turn on you. You saw that with ISIS, right? Because you're watching brothers fight brothers and never get in between that kind of fight.
I'd like to go back to something you said earlier, Christina, about the children being lost, the small children being separated from their parents, you know, and then coming up lost. Where the hell did they go? Where did those children go? And that brought to mind for me something that I have been very much against, and that is the man camps around our native reservations. And that what you just said about those children disappearing is about as poignant as the man camps that are around our First Peoples homeland.
Yeah.
And and that's why we need to do something. For
those of our viewers that don't know, the man camps are when they open up a pipeline, when they're doing logging and all of that. The temporary camps that those corporations set up are called man camps. And a lot of times they get all sorts of special treatment, including they'll move rapists, murderers around inside of those camps, kind of like they did with priests, right? So you've got in these camps, when they show up, the murder rate, the children disappearing, all of those things follow them. And when the police come, they are either bought off, like blatantly bribed off, or they've got so much connection with the law enforcement, they, just like I said, they did with priests, they move them to a next place, and the numbers continue to rise. Just kind of to put in
Yeah.
for
And
those that
what a
don't
lot
know.
of people don't like with making the connection is organ trafficking is the second highest black market business in the entire, and this is worldwide, and you have millions of missing children. How it just, if you connect the dots, it's like, hey, you know, there's a reason why this market is so huge, and it's a dark reality, and no one wants to hear that. No one wants to hear that kids are being taken for such an evil thing, and it's just,
And they're overwhelmingly black, brown, and poor.
yeah,
That's are the all kids that get trafficked like that.
and they
To
don't
go
come
back
back.
to Hawaii, we have an Air Force base that's there, right? We have drones that can see into rubble miles deep, can see into mountains in Afghanistan. And they did not launch one drone to look for survivors. I can fly one drone and mark every single living person on the island. And yet they didn't even attempt it. They didn't even use the National Guard for almost a week afterward. Right, but if you wanna send drones to Ukraine, right? They got $100 billion, no problem. 24-hour surveillance, right? Satellite surveillance, anything you need. Call Elon Musk, right? But when it comes time that there's a fire and we've got 1,000 indigenous and poor Hawaiians, right, missing, they act like not. It's beyond that there was nothing that they can do. They act like they don't even own the most powerful drones on the planet.
Yeah, it's because
Right? Like it wasn't even in their mind, and like nobody even thought of it.
and that's why we need new leaders desperately, because those people are important. And I know David for a fact I would sign off to make sure that these people are searched for, and then we would be proactive. We wouldn't be reactive. We would prevent as many deaths and as many missing people, because our candidacy isn't just going against the establishment, it's going against every sick person in power as well, and it's us against a whole army of corrupted individuals. And I know David's up for a fight because he's used to fighting, and I'm up for a fight too, and we're okay being having the small group, but we have the biggest heart and we have the biggest fight.
That's why I said why it's so important in the beginning to get working class leaders in office, because you are used to fighting. Yes. Right? You are used to doing this. It's been a fight your entire lives. Christina, right, is working a full-time job and running for the Senate and doing social work, right? Literally has to, you know what I mean, wake up in her couple of minutes of sleep to come on and talk to the people. The rich don't even answer their own phones. We haven't had a press conference or a real press conference from Joe Biden in almost 2 years.
And it's ridiculous. And then we have our vice president who just laughs at people when the Hawaiians were there.
Yeah.
I'm just like, come on.
I don't even. Some of it. At the end of the day, Kamala Harris is a fascist. They're not smart people. If they were smart, they wouldn't be fascist.
Well, Biden's numbers went down as soon as
you wouldn't be fascist.
How embarrassing is that? You are so bad at your job. Trump's in jail and he's still beating you in the polls, and he's not even campaigning or doing anything. Like,
because we refuse to pass progressive legislation. We were never going to beat, even now, we may not beat Trump in, and I've said this before, we might not beat Trump in court. Court is where he lives. That's his entire life. He's built his entire career out of lawsuits, right? That is his game. You're challenging Mike Tyson to a fist fight, right? How you beat Trump is by passing progressive legislation.
And they will not do that.
That's why they get their asses kicked.
Put this in the back of your mind, and that's where, you know, things like that. But Tucker Carlson has got a video out there talking about how it's going to be the Democrats who assassinate Donald Trump, physically assassinate, like JFK. That's what Tucker Carlson is putting out there.
Look, I don't want to.
No, I just want to, because I know that you guys, just from your reactions, I know that you guys didn't hear it, but I just want to.
Both of them, both Biden and Trump are 80 years old.
Yeah.
81 years old in Biden's case. Father Time will handle it way before any of us will.
And it's like that's dangerous for him to even say that, because at the end of the day, When natural causes take place because no one's going to live forever, they're going to now, all the January 6 people are going to say we assassinated them, and then we're going to have another insurrectionist. Like, that's just
fear is control
out there.
Fear is control.
Yeah.
And Tucker specifically, their entire thing runs off of fear. So it's no surprise to me that he would try to push those kind of things, because the fear that it invokes is what gets him views. That really is their entire game. They're scared shitless. And they put that out. They're scared. Yeah. Geez, they're scared of movies. They're scared of beer.
They're scared of the Barbie movie.
Yeah. Right? Yeah, they're scared of the Barbie movie. Ridiculous. And this is something interesting, because every single one of those 40-year-old opinionated jackasses went to the Barbie movie.
Yeah.
You still went and saw it, and then try to pretend like you didn't just go and see it. Like you're trying to hide something in yourself. Yeah. Right, you have to come out against it. It's a it's a movie for little girls. That's fine.
My daughters had Barbies.
I want to see the Barbie movie. I'm so excited when it starts streaming that I'm going to be able to watch it. Like I already love everyone in there.
Some of it is coming to terms with the fact that not everything is made for you, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Right. And they're really having a guy, you know what I mean? Like, of course, it's not a hardcore action movie, right? It's the Barbie movie.
Yeah.
This wasn't made for you. To be outraged that it wasn't is insanity.
I know. It was just crazy to watch all these guys flip out over the Barbie movie.
You see the level of fear that they have when those kind of things set you off, right? That's why they're using. They really do exist solely in using fear for control.
And
I would like to go.
I have to get off now.
Okay.
Yeah, she only had an hour.
Well, I just
got to be up at work.
I gotta get up at 5 a.m. So I'm already looking at maybe like 7. I'm hoping to get 7 hours of sleep, maybe 6.
The important part was that we got to open and have the conversation. We're going to be having these more and more. Yeah. I've got so many people that we've got set up for interviews, and I want to make sure to bring not just both of you, but as many third-party and independent voices as I can. Yeah. Because I truly believe that's where the future of our country is. We've ran the two-party system as far as it can go.
Yeah.
Well, I'd just like to close on this one thing, since we're talking about private climate change. When the polar ice caps do melt, my home is beachfront property. So you're all invited to come down and have some barbecue, etc. And my home is going to be, when the polar ice caps do melt completely, I've got beachfront property, and not that I'm going to be doing any boating or anything like that, but.
I don't think you're going to have much of a choice.
Yeah, I won't. Have to row.
I-5 is going to be pretty much underwater, except for what goes through the mountains. But where I live at, I'm on the top part of the Lahar area. But as far as the climate change goes, I know a lot of people are going to suffer, and
a lot of people are suffering now.
Well, I mean, they're going to suffer even more once those polar ice caps. And I talk about having barbecue in my beachfront property, and I'm not moving. So, but anyway,
there's two things to remember. Nothing that's been done to the earth can't be undone.
That's right.
Right. It's going to take a lot of work. We're going to have to build some crazy giant machines, but there is nothing that's been done that can't be undone. And number two, as we face the climate crisis, we are going to have to be more united than ever before. Right? There is no way, again, as we said in the very beginning, we can't wait for our corrupt leaders to take action. We have to take action right now ourselves.
That's right, we do.
And that's what this campaigns are.
They've already failed us. Right? Now we have to elect the people that are going to fight to undo these things. It's not even to the stop them part. They got to be undone completely. But it can be done. If we put our minds to it and we unite, there is nothing that humanity can't do.
Oh, yeah.
I think we ought to send all of those people who have those types of attitudes. If you've never seen the movie The Help, I encourage you to watch it because they have a delicious pie.
Amazing. All right, I'm gonna please, Christina, give out your website,
Yes.
and I know
Good to see you again.
Yes, my fundraiser is September 24th. But if you'd like, you can donate earlier. My website is Christina Khalil for NewJersey.com. I don't know. Can I put it in the chats?
Yeah, and I can repost it on here as well. I think I have your some of your information in the actual details of the live
And
stream. Yep.
right now we're collecting donations, the entire Green Party of New Jersey, because we need to do in-town, in-person town hall so we can build up a full panel of Green Party members for the 2024 election. And this is the only way we could get our president voted in, because the way New Jersey's set up, we want to make, that's what we want to do. We want to get ethical leaders, a full panel of us to get voted in, and we have to do the vetting.
Yeah.
So please help us travel throughout the state of New Jersey, because it's very expensive, guys. Please.
Inflation is killing us
Yes.
all. Supposedly this Bidenomics thing is working for somebody.
No, it's not. It's working for the rich. And I just want to let everyone know, we're all working class people, so I definitely understand that people can't donate. We don't accept corporate donations. This is completely grassroots. So that's why we rely on the donations of people. And because I'm not going to go to Exxon and get like a $20,000 donation from them. They can't buy us out because we have to sign a contract. And if we break the contract, we're kicked out of the party.
Well, it doesn't have to be, although the donations for both of you, for all of us, for any of our projects, the donations are definitely wanted. But a share is just as good as a donation.
And even coming out to the events.
Yeah, coming out to events, like commenting, all of it. They try to minimize those, like a lot of those things, but don't let them tell you that your voice doesn't matter, right? That share, that, hey, do you know about Christina's, do you know about David Strider? Do you know about the Green Party? Do you know about third parties? Whatever you're saying, it has meaning. Don't let them tell you that it doesn't. And every one of those shares, right, puts people farther up in the on social media, so more and more people see it. David, before we go, also kind of give your closing and all of that.
Yes, I don't have an active campaign thing going on as far as fundraising goes, but the important thing is here, 52% of the people here in the state of Washington State legalized it, so we had cannabis. Terrence and I have, in fact, it was his idea to come up with banking for cannabis. I think that would be a good thing. We've had just in my neighborhood, we've had owners be shot, murdered in their stores because they can't put it in the banks. But another thing is that, I'm so happy about many things that are happening in my life. I mean, it's the fact that I'm able to run for office and I'm meeting fantastic people like you, Christina, and Terrence. And I just don't want to put the brakes on anything that I'm doing or saying. I'm going to be judicious in how I address people. I'm not going to try to rip anyone's head off and do the Marine thing. I want to try to let them know that what they're doing is wrong. And I think that the best way to do it is to attack that with truth. And that's what I'm doing. Attack it with truth.
All right.
Yeah. And we got a hell of a product line. We got to have a product line. If you want to
get you some merch out.
Get the merch out.
Thank you both so much for joining me. We're going to have, we try to do 2-3 of these a month. And as always, you're both welcome to come on. Bring your friends.
I will. You know what? Let's try the next time we do this. Let's try like a couple days in advance. I'm okay with like last minute stuff like this, but there are some other members of the Green Party that I would love to bring on here. So I'd like to there's I don't know how to stress it. There's Green Party National, and then there's Green Party New Jersey, and I've told Terrence this a little bit. We are like, we help each other, but we're two different entities. Like the Green Party of New Jersey is just like,
New Jersey's always kind of doing its own thing.
Yeah.
So that makes perfect sense.
We're our own country in the USA.
Yeah.
All right. Like,
Thank-
follow, share, support the revolution.
Thank
Yeah.
you guys. Have a good night
We're good.
or good day.